became the first player in LaSalle women's soccer history to be named National Soccer Coaches Association of America All-American in 2011 when she garnered second team accolades along with teammate Kelsey Haycock. Washington scored 11 goals, tallied 5 assists to help the Explorers to their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. Following her spectacular sophomore campaign, Washington continued to gather recognition. In 2012, she was named to the All-Atlantic 10 first team, to the All-A10s All-Tournament team, and was a third-team COSIDA Academic All-American as LaSalle once again earned a trip to the NCAA tournament. As a senior, the Ewing, New Jersey native was named Atlantic 10 Tournament Most Valuable Performer, leading the Explorers to the third straight NCAA tournament. She earned a spot on the NSCAA Scholar Athlete Team, All-America team for her second straight season, and was once again an All-Atlantic 10 performer. For her career, she finished with 40 goals, which ranks second in school history, and 101 points, which currently ranks third all-time. Head coach Paul Royal had this to say about Renee. She began her illustrious career in the fall of 2010, and I quickly realized that she would be one of the most driven and highly achieving student athletes I've ever had the privilege to work with. From the beginning, she instilled a sense of confidence and belief in her teammates, and our program would lead to multiple championships and recognition as one of the top programs in the country during her tenure. I consider her one of the pioneers that have built our LaSalle program to what it is today, and her legacy continues on. Renee is well known for her clutch performances in some of the biggest games and moments in our program's history. Over her 4 years, some of those historic moments came in the form of her astonishing 19 game-winning goals, 6 of which came in overtime, including a golden goal in the 2012 Atlantic 10 championship game. Throughout her soccer career and beyond, Renee's desire to be the very best version of herself as both a student and an athlete inspired her teammates, coaches, and future Explorers in their search for greatness. She is truly one of the all-time greats in the history of the Atlantic 10 Conference. It is with truly an honor and a privilege to coach such a special person and players, and now see to her continue to positively influence and inspire not only our future student athletes, but every person she comes across in her personal and professional life. Ladies and gentlemen, from women's soccer, please welcome Renee Washington.
Wow. It hasn't been 10 years since I graduated from LaSalle, and I have some catching up to do based on the stories that I've heard from the 3 incredible honorees before me, so I am so thankful to be here. But honestly, my first thought when I heard this news was my sister, who's not here, was scheduled to give birth yesterday. My niece did come a couple weeks early, thankfully, so I got to see her. I was supposed to be on the sidelines for an ESPN game at UPenn today, so I remember telling Paul and Kale, I don't know, I have to work, I have my family, because to me, my first priorities are that, family, and making sure that I'm sticking to the things I'm supposed to be doing. It's not about me, it's about everybody else. So when I knew that my one sister couldn't be here, although everybody else is here and all my incredible family is here, knowing that one sibling could not be here, I was like, no, her, my nephew, my brother-in-law, can't be here, we've got to wait. I can't be there either. So the truth is, I'm not supposed to be here. My first, thought is, here we are in the midst of celebrating Title IX. We're celebrating National Women and Girls in Sports Day just a couple days ago. We're in the midst of Black History Month. And for me, I represent a whole bunch of others like myself that want to one day be in spots like this. As a girl whose dad coached her in club soccer, and was told many times because he did not play soccer, he played basketball professional overseas, and nobody in my family played soccer outside of the youth level. I wasn't supposed to be good at soccer. I was supposed to be playing for an academy with a different coach, but instead my dad, he was right there learning as everything he could to teach me to be the best that I could be. I was a tall, skinny, lanky kid, by maybe no surprise still today, who didn't have the look of what was supposed to be a top soccer player. I was often questioned throughout my career, was I strong enough, mentally, physically? I wasn't supposed to be here. And I was a girl who stood in the middle of the Ewing Rec soccer field, and I thought I was so good, but I really was not. as the game was being played all around me at the Little Kickers Field. And from there at Parkway Amico to now, I definitely was not supposed to be here. You know, I remember my big sisters always beat up on me in soccer, basketball, racing, anything we could play. We would compete and play all the time. We'd be playing in the living room, kicking soccer balls against the couch. We'd be playing basketball everywhere. We'd be in the backyard. We'd be running around anywhere we could. And I was the younger sister, just chasing my twin sisters, trying to keep up. My trainer, who's more like family than a coach, Mr. Lewis, who taught me every aspect of the game and took that little rec soccer player to be a goal scorer, a top player in the state, in the region, in the country. Again, I still was not supposed to be here. My high school coaches who were supposed to make it today, but unfortunately were unable to, Dr. Hawkey and Patrick Murphy, who let me be the ball girl as my sisters are playing high school soccer, and I was just, again, the younger middle school sister watching. I remember just looking in awe at all that was happening at Pennington High School, and to then be a part, fast forward a few years later, of what was then the #1 team in the nation for high school soccer and being one of the leading scorers of that program. Still was not supposed to be here though. And I remember stepping foot on campus in August of 2010 and having the start of preseason go a little bit different than most people's preseasons, as I ended up in the hospital day one of my freshman year preseason and was wondering, am I supposed to be here? I don't know if I'm cut out for this. And then over the course of the years, just seeing the growth and all that has changed. You know, when I look back from Parkway Amico Rec Soccer to the Ewing Express to Pennington High School to LaSalle and all that has come. We all have our stories, as everybody's been sharing. We all have our legacies. We all have the tremendous things that we've accomplished. And everyone's story has led them to be here. So the challenges, the adversity, the defining moments that we've all overcome and embraced, the memories, have allowed us to be so fortunate to be standing here today. So I'm thankful to have this opportunity to celebrate with all of you, those that mean the world to me, and even those that are FaceTiming in right now that cannot be here, or that are sending their well wishes from abroad. There's nothing about my journey that has not been surrounded by love, support, caring coaches, caring family members, but there's also nothing that's been perfect about my journey. And so when I look back and I think about it, it wasn't easy. Nothing was handed to me, just like everybody else has mentioned. But there were so many moments that I look back on that were so worth it. And as a kid, I didn't understand what those moments meant. None of us ever do. But now, it's all starting to come together. And much like Jill was actually talking about in her speech, ironically, I had all this planned before, but we were saying similar things. And what I wanted to talk about was this line that my coach, Paul Royal, and I used to talk about. I hated losing more than I loved winning. And if you know me at all, you know I am a competitor. It doesn't matter if it's board games, if it's card games. If I'm not winning, I will let you know it. And we will probably not leave that table until I win that game. Sorry, family. But when I decided to attend LaSalle and be a part of this program, it wasn't about the championships. It wasn't about being an All-American 3 times or even being a Hall of Famer. It was just an opportunity to play the sport that I loved for 4 more years. I just wanted to come here and compete. I remember in the recruiting process, coaches didn't take a chance on me, but there was one coach that did, Paul Royal. And I just wanted to come here where the culture was welcoming, allow me to enjoy what I do day in, day out, and just play soccer an hour from home in New Jersey and enjoy all that I love about the game. Again, I still was not supposed to be here. So my teammates and I accomplished a lot, as Kale was talking about, over the course of my 4 years. When we reached the A10 quarterfinals for the first time ever in program history my freshman year. Incredible. And then we continued the next year to do even better, having an unscored upon record halfway through the season before we really gave up our first goal against Dayton in that pack-the-mac exciting game, to only having 2 losses that entire season my sophomore year and being put on the national map. And those 2 losses came in the A10 tournament and the NCAA tournament. So to run through my sophomore year as a program that had a first the year before, none of us really understood the magnitude of what we were accomplishing. And the 3rd year, winning our first A10 tournament, again getting to go back to the NCAA tournament. Now that was the norm. That was the bar. We've got to make NCAA tournaments. We've got to win the A10, regular season and conference tournament. That was the expectation because to us, that's what we were competing for. And so it was during those years when beyond being just an All-American, being named the top 50 student athlete across the NCAA my senior year, being named LaSalle Student Athlete of the Year, the championships that we won, the firsts, the records, the accomplishments, that I started to figure out that anything is possible. Those 3 key words, again, comes down to 3 key words. Mine are anything is possible. And when you work hard day in and day out, you do the right things, you compete, our practices were way harder than our games. We challenged ourselves, we pushed each other, whether it was a fitness test, whether it was passing patterns, whatever we were doing, we wanted to be better than the person next to us and compete as much as we can. But most importantly, we wanted to be better than we were yesterday. And those same aspects of being able to pick yourself up, no matter how hard things get, no matter who's in your corner questioning you, we had that underdog mentality as a group for 4 years that we carried. And that allowed us to hold ourselves to a level of integrity that no matter what anybody else thought, we at 20th and only knew we were gonna be the best team. And no matter who we were playing, again, same mindset. If we're playing UVA, if we're playing Maryland, if we're playing Rutgers, it doesn't matter, we're going to be the best team. And you're gonna walk away from that field knowing you just played a great LaSalle Explorers team. So for my young niece and nephew, who are of course not here, for the shy child that wants to be on television like I am one day, for the brown girl that wants to play soccer, for the next generation that's able to look up to the things that I've been able to accomplish, I realize it's so much bigger than me. And in this moment, as I accept this award amongst so many incredible people, I'm so thankful to be able to be chosen to represent LaSalle, to be chosen to represent female athletes, people of color, soccer players, my family, and all the various communities that I represent. So yes, I still hate losing way more than I love winning. And as I am just so thankful and appreciative of the excitement that comes around this, I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank Brother Jerry in the communication department, who allowed me to pursue my passion and purpose in reporting, in speaking, in doing all the work that I do today, to make that pivot from being just a public relations student to then jumping forward and getting into what I love doing. Also, to be able to have the incredible coaches that have been so supportive. Paul Royal, who's here today, my assistant coaches that helped over those 4 years, from Dan Manella and Allie Kenny to Amy Huff, Melissa Sanger, to just continue to push me. I remember having many conversations in the office about ways that I can continue to grow and to learn and to be better, because that's what LaSalle is all about, right? It's about coming in as a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed freshman, unsure about what's going on. Maybe there's some things that happen in between, like landing up in the hospital the first day of preseason, but then by the end, when you walk away at the end of those 4 years, knowing that you really have left your mark and can now take on whatever the world throws your way. That same mindset that we faced going up against UVA and Maryland and top programs is the same mindset that we all were given to go against the world, to take on whatever challenges were thrown our way. So first and foremost, I'm just so blessed and thankful, and I would not be here without God, because there were many moments that I wanted to quit, wanted to step away, many moments where I doubted myself, you know, with all the outside noise of not being sure if this is where I'm supposed to be. Am I doing the right things? Am I supposed to be playing this sport? Am I supposed to be at this school? But it's by the grace of God that I am standing here today, and that I am fortunate to be able to have the incredible people that have helped me get here, because it absolutely takes a village. I'm thankful for my teammates over the years, my youth soccer teammates, my high school teammates, from the state ODP team and the regional ODP team, and of course my fellow explorers, who sometimes we walked away from that practice field and we may not have wanted to talk to each other afterwards, but you know that it was all love at the end of the day. You know that every day we were just looking out for each other, so that when we did go up against other opponents, we had already done the work. We had already beat up on each other. We had already challenged each other, talked some trash along the way, so that no matter what our opponent tried to do to us, no matter who stepped on the field against us, we were gonna walk away with our heads held high, knowing that the LaSalle Explorers were here. Of course, I've got to give thanks to my coaches over the years, my high school coaches, my trainers, and like I mentioned, my trainer, Mr. Lewis, who I remember starting off when I was 5, 6 years old, and he allowed me to come out and practice with my sisters. He was coaching my sister's travel team at the time and allowed me to practice with them. They were 3 years older than me. And I've always loved playing. Boys, girls, older, younger, did not matter. I just wanted to play soccer. And he welcomed me in and then took that and continued to work with me. And even when I was in college, I still would reach out to him and say, hey, my shot's not so great today, or my first touch is a little off. Can I come work with you? And no matter what was going on, Mr. Lewis would let me come, jump into a session, get beat up on by other players, and just continue to work on my craft. I've of course got to thank my top coach. Sorry, other coaches. There's only one number one coach, and that's my dad. And I'm so fortunate to have had the opportunity to work with my dad. Not many people can say that they grew up playing for their parent. Now it's something that's looked down upon. I don't know why. But we look at this differently because you're supposed to have, and I'll be honest, I've been one of those coaches now on the other side that is the coach brought in to the academy. But growing up, that's not how things were. Your parents coached you. You had the mom and pop teams. And that was my dad. Out there on the soccer field, 6'5", as you can tell, I come from a tall family, and he was never easy on me, contrary to what people may have thought. He was with that loud, booming voice of just always making sure that no matter what was going on, he was continuing to challenge me. My mom as well, the two of them working together to help me be the person that I am today. Not enough words can really sum up what my parents have been able to help me accomplish. I remember telling my mom once, I think I'm gonna change the world. You know, this young, ambitious mindset. And my mom was like, you can do whatever you wanna do. I'm here for you, I'll support you. So as I ventured into the new outside of college, and LaSalle prepared me for that next step, getting my master's, getting into reporting, getting into launching my own business and writing my own book that's dropping soon, hopefully. My mom was right there in my corner, and my dad, to make sure that I can continue to be challenged and know that anything is possible. My siblings, who, as I mentioned, my two older sisters, who always raised the bar, went to college. My one sister made it to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament for her basketball team, the College of New Jersey. My other sister was a scoring leader at her college. Carrie and Corey, the twins. Everybody knew Carrie and Corey. They were born on the 4th of July, they were the twins, they were the firsts, and there I was, just straggling along, trying to keep up, trying to be just like them. And as they raised the bar, so did I. As they accomplished, I followed and learned every step of the way of how to be just like them, to now, hopefully, in some ways, be able to raise the bar for somebody else. My brother, my inspiration for all that he's battled with Crohn's disease, with his health. You see him now as this strong, handsome young man, but there was a time where he wasn't that. And I remember in college, especially, just feeling so helpless to see my younger brother. My sisters helped me, it was my job to help him. And I wasn't able to do that until I did find the doctor that could help him. And so, as I mentioned, anything is possible. And the greatest thing that LaSalle taught me is exactly that. When I came in, as I said, I was just looking to play soccer. I just wanted to go somewhere. I remember saying, I think this is a program where I'm not going to sit the bench for 4 years. I might be able to compete for a starting spot. I might be able to play. Little did I know, I was playing in a big way. And so to see all that LaSalle has given me to help build the foundation of who I am, believe it or not, I'm at a loss for words. So I just always ask, what could you accomplish if you did know what was possible? What could you accomplish if you went into something knowing you could be an All-American, a Hall of Famer, that you could be leading a program, that you could change the world? What could you accomplish if you fought to be your best with every breath, and you too hated losing just as much as you loved winning? Which doors could you open if you believed that anything is possible? Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. I'm glad she brought up the packs and back game. Because
Thank you.
of the game-winning goals we talked about earlier, that was one of them. LaSalle women's soccer, they both ranked top 20